In 2021, Veronica and her husband built a custom home. Today, it is worth $1.4 million, carrying a modest loan of $475,000. They also secured what most buyers consider the absolute pinnacle of modern real estate, a locked-in, ultra-low 2.75% mortgage rate. Yet, despite holding a rate that millions of people would envy today, they are preparing to walk away from it. Walking away from a sub-3% rate seems counterintuitive until you measure the total volume of interest paid over 30 years versus the potential growth of 20 years of reclaimed cash flow. Building equity in a home traditionally relies on a passive lever, market appreciation. You buy a property, hold it for decades, and wait for market fluctuations to gradually push the value up. This chart shows how standard 30-year amortized loans actually operate. You hit a massive block of interest right from the start. It dominates the first 5 to 7 years, before the principal portion begins to expand. This specific mathematical schedule is designed to pay the bank first. Most of your early monthly payments are siphoned into interest, which keeps your actual principal balance from dropping during the first decade. For Veronica and her husband, they still have almost 24 years left on their loan. Even at 2.75%, they are scheduled to pay over $173,000 strictly in interest over that remaining time. In this model, the low percentage rate is secondary to the mandatory 30-year timeline. As long as they stay in this amortized schedule, they remain financially handcuffed. To break that timeline, you have to switch to an active lever. This is the all-in-one mortgage, an equity engine designed to bypass the traditional banking schedule. Unlike the front-loaded math of an amortization schedule, the all-in-one loan calculates simple interest on a daily basis. This chart shows the active paydown formula. Depositing a paycheck instantly drops the principal balance, so the daily interest calculation shrinks immediately. This reduction happens before paying bills. Even when pulling money out for expenses, interest was already calculated against that lower daily balance. Every dollar deposited matches the principal dollar for dollar. This continuous pressure creates equity up to 3 times faster than a traditional loan. Instead of debt dictating your lifestyle, your standard paycheck and spending habits are used to actively dismantle the loan. Let's look at the math for a couple with a $600,000 home and a $540,000 loan. They deposit $12,000 monthly and spend $8,500. In a standard 30-year mortgage, after 111 months, about 9.3 years, they will have paid down just $76,000 of that principal. Here is that traditional loan compared to the all-in-one. Using the exact same cash flow and spending, the all-in-one zeroes out that $540,000 loan in that same 9.3-year window. Now look at Veronica's high-income case. She deposits $35,000 monthly and spends $12,000 against her $475,000 loan. The all-in-one structure clears her entire debt in 20 payments. That is 1.7 years, saving her $141,000 in interest. Utilizing daily simple interest makes even a 2.75% fixed rate mathematically inferior in terms of total cost and time. Rapidly eliminating debt is the catalyst for the actual financial shift, the total recovery of over 2 decades of former interest payments. For the couple in the $600,000 home, paying off the loan in 9.3 years reclaims 21.7 years of what would have been monthly mortgage payments. By redirecting that former mortgage payment into an S&P 500 index fund for those 21.7 years, they shift their capital from the bank's pocket into their own. At a 10% return, that investment grows into a $2.7 million balance. Combined with the home's appreciation to $2.5 million, their total wealth reaches $5.3 million. These millions are the direct result of exiting the traditional mortgage timeline and putting that cash flow to work 2 decades early. Applying this to Veronica's situation, she reclaims 22 years of financial freedom. Investing her freed-up $2,265 monthly payment yields a $2.2 million portfolio by the time her original 30-year mortgage would have ended. If she leaves that capital untouched for another 10 years, the compounding growth accelerates without any additional effort. This chart shows the acceleration at the end of the timeline. That portfolio grows into $5.7 million, capital that can be passed down to the next generation. This trajectory into multi-million-dollar wealth is built on the specific mechanics of where dollars go. By replacing a traditional mortgage engine with a daily simple interest model, time becomes a generator of wealth rather than a consumer of it.